The All Progressives Congress APC has yesterday, on Wednesday, officially unveiled former Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, as a running mate of the presidential candidate of the party, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. However, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir, el-Rufai, Chairman of Northern Governors Forum, and Governor of Plateau State, Hon Simon Lalong, President also of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, who also vied unsuccessfully for the presidential ticket of the party, amongst others, were among the list of those not in attendance.
Now, this candidacy choice, of course, has been highly condemned by a number of Nigerians who believe that political office holders should always choose their running mates in a way that reflects balance, especially by the major religions represented in the country. Now, joining us this morning from Abuja is APC chieftain Segun Tomori to tell us more about this event. Good morning, Segun. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Now, can you tell us about all that went down yesterday and why the aforementioned leaders were not present at the ceremony?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, please go ahead, Segun.
Thank you. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, if you recall, you know that Senator Shettima was announced some weeks ago, and you cannot rule out the fact that some people don't feel comfortable with the choice of the candidate, the vice presidential candidate. Some because they felt, okay, they should have been the candidate. Some because they had genuine concerns about, what they term inclusivity and all that. So, but the event was a success anyway, because you had a majority of the governors, so a Progressive Governors Forum were there, party chieftains and all that. Don't also forget that it wasn't a campaign event, it was a party event, it was an official unveiling by the party, which is the NWC. So you had all the NWC members represented, attending, the majority, not all, but majority of the NWC members attending and all that. So if you have majority of the NWC members, that represent like the major geopolitical zones in this country attending, you had the Chairman Governors Forum, you had the Progressive Governors Forum leader, Senator Bagudu of Kebbi State attended, representing his colleague governors. I don't think, the absence of one or two people should raise eyebrow, because people are in their state, governors are in their state doing their jobs, as state chief executives and all that. The legislature is also sitting, the National Assembly, they're also sitting and all that. So for a party event, you'd say if people have representatives, you would say it is fair that we had an event that majority attended. Some might stay away because of the exigencies of their jobs and all that. But it was a fine event. What I can tell you is that the party is united, behind the ticket, the presidential ticket of the party, and whatever you might have noticed or you think will be a storm in the teacup. And the Asiwaju, the Tinubu Shettima ticket, yes, I know that there are genuine concerns from some sections of Nigerians on why they think it should have inclusivity. But the candidate has said, okay, the time has come that, we shouldn't look at the faith, a man professes before we choose him for a job. We should look at the overriding competence. You look at, the person that can deliver the goods and the job, and I think that he didn't think about where he was coming from before he chose Shettima. If we know that in this country now, we know that the main issue affecting us is, economic downturn. Economic downturn is what has triggered, high rate of insecurity. And you have a man in Kashim Shettima that has an economic finance background, combined with an accountant in Tinubu.
Mr. Tomori.
Also an economic background.
Mr. Tomori,
so
Mr. Tomori, can you kindly hold on?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just, with regards to what you're saying now, which was something we're going to definitely bring up in the course of this interview. We understand, the perspective of, bring someone who has, these qualifications, and ignore religion and all of that. But I'm sure that, you also are aware that Nigeria has a vast Christian, community, has a very large, Christian community. That are you then saying that your candidate was not able to find in the interest of unity, in the interest of respect for other religions and other tribes, are you saying that the candidate of your party wasn't able to find any across the country that was worthy enough for, the position of being his vice president?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. And it would be erroneous for me to say that because I'm a Christian myself. I'm not a Muslim.
Exactly. So if you say that this decision was taken,
supporter of Asiwaju Tinubu, and I know that when Asiwaju Tinubu picked Shettima, he made a statement. Part of his statement, that was highlighted is that he has absolute regard and respect for Christians in this country, and that absolute regard and respect, cannot be signposted, better than his wife of almost 4 decades that stayed with him, that he didn't try to Islamize her. And she's not just a Christian, she's an
Mr. Tomori, she's not
Church of God.
Mr. Tomori, we're having a conversation.
You'd allow me to answer your question.
I will allow you. I just want to quickly just chip in that
yes,
the wife of the candidate is not being voted for here. And if we're talking about a multi-religious, multi-ethnic country,
I agree. I agree with you. But even I agree with you. In that there should be inclusivity. But you cannot say that there's non-inclusivity with just a 2 tickets. We have seen instances in this country, states, that have had same faith, Christian, Muslim in some states and all that. For instance, in Osun State, the newly elected governor-elect in Osun State is a Christian. The deputy is a Christian, and we have states like that that have Muslim, Christian, and all that. But the people do not look at religion to vote them into power. They look at why. They look at their manifesto. They look at what they are bringing to the table. They look at the persona of the people and the candidate. So you cannot say Asiwaju Tinubu has just appointed a running mate. He has not appointed the DJ of the campaign. He has not made his cabinet. He has not been elected and all that. But also as presidential candidate, you also have to know that as presidential candidate, you have to appoint somebody that can work with you, somebody you can trust, somebody that will be loyal to you, somebody that share your vision. Those things are key. And I think they supersede religious sentiments, because if I as presidential candidate, I want to be a reformist, I want to be pragmatic, I want to be innovative, I need a partner that will share that ideals with me. I won't just say, let me just pick anybody to satisfy first. I'm not saying it's not important, but I won't just pick somebody to satisfy religious sentiment first and fail on the assignment. I feel we are in a critical stage in this country that we need, to transform. We need to reset. We need innovative thinking. And I think anywhere we find that person that can be the partner to the person at the top of the ticket, we should consider him above religious or ethnic sentiment. That's my view. And that doesn't mean we're not going to, balance, the ticket or balance the campaign or the government as time goes on. I'm sure Asiwaju Tinubu understands this ethnic sensitivities, religious sensitivities of our people. He's not taking them for granted. He can never take them for granted, because Christians are even part of his family, aside from his wife. So Mr. he can't take them for granted. So going forward, I'm sure, measures will be taken to ameliorate the situation and, give, the critical segment of our country, the Christians, a sense of belonging.
Mr. Tomori, let's talk. You've explained the political and the ethnic aspect, but there are some concerns that have been raised by people, especially as regards security and politics, looking at the fact that the current vice presidential candidate for the APC was the sitting governor in Borno State at the time when insecurity was, would I say, at its peak. Of course, we know of the Chibok girls. There have been conversations about that. For those who have raised such concerns, what would be your answer in that regard?
We were in this country when insecurity was very high. Under the insecurity within the context of Boko Haram was very high under the past administration. And we saw how Governor Shettima, raised the alarm that he wasn't getting the needed assistance at the federal government. Don't also forget that, the federal government really controls the security apparatus, of the security agencies, from the army, and even to the police. We are largely operating the central police. the army, the navy, everything, apparatus of security are controlled by the federal government. You know, when we took over power in 2015, you saw the drastic action of this federal government led by our President Muhammadu Buhari. You know, the Buratai, you know, led the war from the front. You know, you saw the deployment of needed resources that was needed to execute the war. And we saw a dramatic turnaround, you know, in Boko Haram insurgency because of the impetus and the seriousness the federal government gave the war, you know, and that's why today you see that large swaths of the Northeast are relatively safe. You know, before we took over power, an expanse of territory, you know, which experts posit, you know, is equivalent to the size of Belgium. We're in the hands of terrorists today. No part of Nigeria is in the hands of terrorists and all that. So we've rolled back, even though we have, you know, new contemporary security challenges, which has been addressed headlong and which will be addressed frontally by the next administration, hopefully by President Tinubu. You know, we've been able to roll back, we've been able to have so much gains in the area of Boko Haram. So Governor Shettima as governor didn't get the requisite support from the then federal government. Don't also forget that we had when in 2015, when the new administration took over, that $2.1 billion, you know, voted for arms purchase were frittered away by fat cats, you know, and those contributed to, you know, the worsening situation of insecurity then when he was governor. But he tried his best, and we know that he tried, and you can know, it's also instructive to know that his successor, Governor Zulu, now, you know, is doing very well because they have a cooperative federal government that has a political will, you know, to tackle insurgency. Yes.
All right, Mr. Tomori, I also want you to respond to the allegations of fake bishops, which were seen gracing the occasion yesterday. There's loads of videos that have been shared online and pictures that, of course, you know, people have also shared. No one is 100% sure who these people are, you know, but, you know, some have said they might be Christian, they might be Catholic or Anglican or Presbyterian. The Christian Association of Nigeria has also dared the APC to mention the names of these bishops or these officials in attendance, attesting to the fact that they very likely are fake. Can you quickly share your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are simple. You know, the event was an open event. It was not a gated event or an event with IV and all that. So if it's an open event, anybody can attend that event. If you're a clergy, you're an imam, you're anything, you identify with the party, you want to see the unveiling, you can attend. So I don't think anybody invited anybody officially to say, okay, I am not aware of that as a person that, you know, the campaign in which I'm a part of invited some selected bishops or something. You know, I am not aware of that information. But what I know is that it's an open event and people can attend. So I will not speak for them because I'm not aware we invited them as a campaign. So I will not speak about that. And I've also seen a lot of trolling on social media. People have been able to, I've seen some pictures that people say, oh, they know this person is not a bishop and all that. And we've seen at least 3 people give different accounts of who one person is. I wish I can show you evidence of that. You know, there's a particular person that, you know, 3 people, 3 separate people on Twitter said, oh, I know him from Osun State. Somebody said, I know him from Lagos. Somebody said, I know him from... So that's to show you that it was just a troll by the opposition, you know, to cast aspersion on, you know, the unveiling of a vice presidential candidate to just make a mess out of the whole situation by painting, you know, false accusations and all that. So, but it is an open event. So if anybody attends, whoever he is,
but doesn't this
against them. So I don't have any information, you know, about it because I'm not aware they were invited officially, at least by the campaign in which I'm part of. So that's my position on that.
So what you're saying now is that these persons that cannot be identified by the Christian Association of Nigeria or by anybody else, including a woman, you know, wearing her wig and wearing her wedding ring, including, you know, that one, you know, one of the characters wearing, you know, dark sunshades. You're saying now that these persons simply wore the robes of Christian bishops and attended the, you know, unveiling of Kashim Shettima uninvited, very likely. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying what I know. You know,
I know. I just want to be clear.
Yeah, I'm saying what I know as Segun Tomori, that, it's an open event. I know it's an open event. And if anybody shows up and say, oh, no matter how you're dressed, you'll be given access. That's what I mean. So I don't know. Anything could have happened, but I can't tell you. What I can tell you is what I will tell you. And I don't want to comment further on that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Segun Tomori, for joining us this morning. We, of course, will look forward to having you again as we continually unveil or unfold, as new details unfold, of course, especially as regards the bishop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, then.